According to childhelp.org, which is an organization that focuses on child abuse in our nation, approximately 30% of abused children will one day continue the cycle and abuse their own children. After extensive research and gathering information from various sources, combined with prior knowledge from taking different classes and hearing speakers, as well as past experiences from friends and family members, I have acquired enough knowledge today to pass this information on to you. Child abuse, or children that go through abuse, not only have to go through the initial effects of it, but it also carries on into their future and affects their adulthood. Today I will tell you about the three main types of abuse along with the effects of each. The first type, which people are usually the most familiar with, is physical abuse and neglect. Approximately 60% of all cases fall under this category. According to National Center for Injury Prevention and Control, neglect is any parent's or caretaker's need or failure to provide the basic needs for a child, and this would include like food, shelter, housing, education, or medical care. Physical abuse is the use of physical force upon a child, and that would include like hitting, kicking, shaking, or burning. And the initial effects of that are not only the initial pain, but also can lead to death too. And the long-term effects include brain and eye damage, drug or alcohol abuse, depression, and a loss of self-esteem. There are also social and economic costs that come along with this, and this includes a higher rate of crime, homelessness, unemployment, and mental illness in the community. The second kind, although it is not commonly heard of, is emotional abuse. Emotional abuse is usually not taken as serious because people aren't as aware of how much it can affect children. And examples of this are name-calling, shaming a child for something that they do that would usually be considered positive or normal for a child to do, rejecting them, or threatening them. According to the organization Prevent Child Abuse America, the long-term effects of this include depression, a loss of trust, a lack of empathy for others, issues with anxiety, and a lower self-esteem. The third type that is usually goes unreported is sexual abuse. According to the American Humane Association, sexual abuse is any engagement in sexual acts, and this falls into two categories, and the two categories are touching and non-touching, and touching is pretty self-explanatory, like touching a child in inappropriate places, and that can also go anywhere to rape. The non-touching kind would be forcing a child to watch people engage in like sexual activities or having them watch pornographic materials, and men and women are both perpetrators of this act, and boys and girls are both the victims. The long-term effects of this include a loss of trust for adults, feelings of guilt because they think that it was their fault that they did it, so they don't report it, and they think they could have stopped it. They also become antisocial, and they have trouble forming intimate relationships with partners in the future. And that also takes two turns. On one hand, people tend to have a lot of sex because they want to forget the bad experiences and make new ones. And on the other hand, some people just don't want to have sex at all because they don't want the flashbacks to come back, and they don't want to relive that experience again. So after discussing the three main types of abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, and physical abuse and neglect, along with the effects of each, you can now see how abuse is affecting children, not only them, but also our community and nation as a whole. I hope that you're now all more aware of the effects that child abuse is having on children and our community.